All right, ladies and gerbils, welcome back to the Multiverse. So I'm going to have to really do some quick, short videos from here on out, try to keep updated regularly because, as I mentioned, I now have a job that's taking about 50 hours a week of my time. And so, let's see. So if I can hit it and get a little 5-minute video in the morning, and then maybe every once in a while hit one in the evening, I think I can keep this rolling just fine. So, some quick updates. It looks like um, over here, no, are they still? Yeah, okay. Harkold and Jebediah are doing great over here as part of the North American Multiverse Coalition. Yep, Biden the 8th is also part of that. And it looks like Florida is part of that. So they actually are doing rather well over here, and they seem to be avoiding, for the most part, any kind of drama, which is definitely a good thing to try to do in this game. um, we have come into our first confrontation, as we mentioned here, between Europe and Africa down here. And so I will say a couple things about this that are worth note. Um, First of all, Papa Smitty really has elevated everyone's understanding of how important popularity is. He was the first one to mention to me the idea of dreaded nations, which I think we maybe have all seen the dreaded nations list in the newspaper and kind of went, oh, that's interesting. What a neat little feature that they mentioned. I think they also mentioned at some point who the richest nation is, um, or maybe who the most popular nation. I'm not sure, but they certainly listed the dreaded nations, and that's something I certainly have wondered about in the past. Like, well, what is this about? I guess it's just kind of a neat sort of I don't know, historically realistic or role play kind of thing. Wow, we must be late in the day here because, good Lord Almighty, this is a long newspaper, and I'm regretting doing this. Anyway, oh yeah, okay. So there's just too much stuff going on here. We're towards the end of a day. So anyway, he's the one who brought up that whole dreaded nation status. That's really neat to talk about. And if you're on the dreaded nation status, that means you're really, really unpopular. And if you are, that means that all the AI and the map are going to start to boycott you, right? Trade embargo you, and which makes your prices all go to 1 when you're trying to sell, and up to 29 or high when you're trying to buy. So that's hugely terrible. And Papa Smitty has been really good at sort of helping us to understand that better. I did mention early on some people attacked him for his early growth, and those of us who are taking the time to talk to him are starting to understand. Oh, okay, okay, and so I'm not going to go too much in depth with that because I might have a tips and tactics come out soon. But this is really, it's kind of some sort of in-game high level stuff that Papa Smitty's been doing that frankly he's been kind enough to kind of share with anybody who has sort of asked him to take them aside. So anyway, pretty cool stuff. But I will say this: by attacking him, I feel like 8 Basil, I know for sure, attacked him. I'm not sure if Sir Jathan attacked him. I don't think he did. I don't think Sir Jathan did, at least not on purpose. And then I believe maybe Wellington, 1968. Anyway, 2 of these African countries down here who are allied attacked Papa Smitty. And that was a huge mistake because, again, that means that Papa Smitty got to engage with them in warfare without having to lose popularity. So every time you attack a nation, even if you declare war in the proper way, it reduces your popularity by about 15 or 16 points. So they just gave him over 30. Eventually he would have attacked them because he was moving south. But by attacking him, they gave him 30 popularity points. In other words, he didn't have to spend them to move south. So pretty big strategic error there. And also, I don't know this for a fact, but I've had it happen to me in games. I wonder if you don't gain some popularity when you are attacked. In other words, some sympathy points. I'd love to hear from anybody who knows about that, whether it's true or not. It's just I did have a game where I was attacked a couple of different times, and my popularity was stellar. So I don't know if it's because I didn't have to attack them, but I get the feeling that that might actually be a bonus for you. So the one thing you don't want to do is give Papa Smitty popularity bonus because he's already riding high on that, pterodactyl of popularity. um, but he also says that he almost lost his footing down here, but then this is Zinzin here came down and took up his flank, and that's just a good example of teamwork there, and kind of took some of the pressure off as well. So I'm not sure what kind of conversations are going on between Tandem and Zinzin, but it does look like they are avoiding conflict at this point, and that's fine with me. Again, I leave regional politics up to individual team members. Um, and so here's something that's interesting that's going on. It's a new philosophy I'm trying out. It's something I can share with the channel because I don't really think it's going to uh, impact or reveal anything that heavily. So I've got a bunch of troops down here. I've got a bunch of troops over here. And every time I take a territory far away from me, actually, no, I don't have a bunch of troops over here. Actually, I was thinking about attacking through here. I'm getting ahead of myself and trying to attack into here. I was thinking about attacking down deep into the Middle East here. You can see what I am doing is attacking this little AI right here. And it just occurs to me the further and further away I get, because I am in other games, I'm in a game where I am in I'm in the southern tip of Africa. This is the new sub game. It's called the new sub game because at the time it was new, and now we can't rename it. But it's the second of the 3 sub games that we have active right now. And in it, we spawned in Africa. And that's when we all first learned that you don't spawn. We thought, okay, we'd have our backs to the water. That's good defensively. And then we'll swarm northwards. And that's what happened. We kind of dominated Africa. But now we're to the point where, every time I take a territory up here, you start with that at 25%, right? But then usually it starts to increase because it's impacted by your overall morale scheme. Well, now it starts at 25 and it's got a down arrow because it's so far away from my capital. And then at that late point in the game, you're usually at war with at least 3 or 4 players. So that's another 15 to 20 off of your morale. So I'm at a point now in that game where I'm just screwed. So I'm also learning, and I think we all are as a group as well. We're learning this idea of how important popularity is, and how important, if you want to work as a team, how important it is that you figure out a way so that everyone can expand endlessly, not endlessly, but as far as possible without blocking each other in. So here's where we find ourselves now. I mentioned on the very first video here, where I started over here and then people just started all around me. I mentioned in that very video, like, oops, I really should have told people to spawn, 2 or 3 countries away. And so Papa Smitty, he always plays Lazo et Umbria, the papal seat. That's just his favorite country to start in. So, and also he has a sense that he doesn't want to spawn around everyone else because he knows the popularity and the morale issues tied up in that. So we did make an error early in this game by spawning close together. I will say, I think that's what happened to Power of Us, and was it Jack Miller? I'm not sure, but there was another player here too. And what happened was they just got wrapped. And when you get wrapped early and knocked down, then it really does affect you. Power of Us was, and I believe still is, in India, attending a funeral for his family. So he's been having to deal with bad internet and long periods on flights. But he now has a more dependable internet connection, and then he will be back in his home in Australia, I think in a week and a half or so, where he'll be back to sort of normal levels of connectivity. But he is at least back to a better level of connectivity here. So one thing I did find out is I was trying to gift him back some of these countries, and I ran into a brick wall. It says you can only gift 4 territories per game to a country. So I did want to ask Popcat, if you wouldn't mind, you're doing great. If you wouldn't mind maybe gifting back. I mean, I say gifting back, but I think these belong to Tom Miller or whatever. But if there's any of these territories you could gift over to Power of Us, to just kind of give him a little bit of a footing in here, that would be cool. Again, I really just want to keep him in the game because he really is a loyal friend. and somebody who just never quits. And I think that's something to be admired. So anyway, I'm attacking down into here. That's fun. I will say there's continuing to sort of be conflict over here. Southeast Asia is dominating over here, so Corman is doing really well over here. My understanding is that Corman, I believe, is allies with 50 cal and clapping cheeks up here. China he went AFK, I believe, for a while and then came back, and I'm just not sure what China can do. He has heavy animosity from these two, and Corman, I'm not sure if there's much animosity there, but I do know they share a border here, and this is a big country. So I'm not so sure. China has been reported to be a elite level gamer, somebody who is hyper responsive, and that's good, but that only gets you so far if you have hostiles on all sides who have significant land area. So we'll keep an eye on that and see what happens with China. It does look like Assam here, Corman continues to grow, and that's impressive down here in Southeast Asia. And then again, it does look like the march south of Papa Smitty and Zinzin here just continues here. This just gets deeper and deeper every time I look at it. And I will say over here, Haircold continues to just expand in North America. Very impressive expansion over here. He may be, I mean, he surely is among the dominant players here. So Pays de Loire is Popcat, Yukla, Potosharenz, Yucatan, Poland. Okay, so what do we have here? He is, oh yeah, this starry wheel thing, which won't tell me. Wisconsin. Okay, wow, Wisconsin, you're rocking over there. But again, that doesn't always tell the whole story there with the points. Looks like I have a couple messages I'll check in just a minute. But that's about it. Again, I'm going to keep these short and sweet if possible. Oh yeah, so here's my general plan moving forward. I can't expand outwards too much. So my biggest weakness is the fact that I'm blocked in. Okay, that's my biggest weakness. It's also my biggest strength because I'm nearly impossible to attack. I don't see how anybody can attack me. So I think what I can do here is screw cannon, screw tanks, screw anything, armored cars, anything defensively, any kind of mech units. I certainly can't have any Navy. I literally don't have one single tile. I mean, I could fight towards one, I could take one or whatever, but it's just not worth it. But here's my thinking. Since I don't have to worry about defensive forces because I am surrounded by powerful allies, what I can do is use the infantry that naturally develop in my land, because they will develop, and use them as shock troops for my allies. So any ally that's going up against a stack, I can throw my guys into that attack first. And the point being is I don't really want infantry. They eat wheat and they use oil. Their daily production sucks. So I can just keep throwing my infantry, whoever develops, into whatever war is happening. They think of them as mercenaries, right, for whoever wants to take them on. Meanwhile, I'll continue to develop. I actually still have level 2 and level 3 factories in some of my newly conquered territories that need to continue to be developed. Some doubles that don't have railways, so I'll continue to do that and try to get my main economy up and roaring as high as possible, and then just start churning out the Air Force. Now, the Air Force, I think, is a great idea because they're fast. So I have great mobility, and I can move from front to front supporting my allies wherever they're needed. So as long as my allies have a air bridge, so to speak, airfields to the front, I can be moving, hopefully, eventually I'd love to have, 50 bombers and 30 fighters kind of stacks. You know what I'm talking about? Just go in and have a really massive hammer that I can bring to bear in some battles that my allies are engaged in. I can be an effective tool to that guy's a tool towards helping out my allies. So that's the best I feel like I can do here. I mean, moving forward and taking territory so far away from my capital is just counterproductive, and it's really taking territories away. For instance, over here, Poland. If I came through him and it took some stuff over here, those are going to remain low morale because they're so far away from my capital. And, I could move my capital over, but then I have to worry about these original territories, and there's just issues there. So I'm going to experiment with this new game model and see what happens. It's kind of interesting. I will go ahead and continue with that as I cast this game. Keep you guys posted. This could be possibly a model for somebody who is sort of blocked in by allies in the future. I'm going to try this in the second game, the African sub game. And by the way, I am going to cast the African sub game. I know I said I was going to stop casting it because I can't continue with the updates like I was, but I will still do an update every couple weeks for both of the other sub games. So look for that coming soon. If you're in that original sub game, God bless you. We've been in there for, 2 or 3 months. The African sub game is, I think today, as of today, is 60 days, so 2 months. So God bless you if you're still in that one too. And hang in there. I will cast. I haven't just given it up entirely. I will do updates so that we can all kind of still see how those original sub games are going. As I mentioned, we learned something from each one. The first one we started in Australia. Terrible idea because, talk about problems with being far away from your capital and having morale issues. Wow. Second game, we did better because we started, in a much larger continent. But again, we grouped up in the south. Terrible idea. Now here in the third game, we started in Europe, which was a great idea. But I did forget to pass on what I'd been learning about spreading out. And again, if you go back to video number 1 of this series, I said that. I was like, oops, everybody's clustering around, like directly around me. That's not going to be good. And we've actually somehow made a pretty good go of it. Popcat has moved out. We did have another member here who left early, and Popcat was able to take him over peacefully because the guy left properly, right? He yeeted into the sea. This guy over here, whatever his name was, I keep forgetting. I'm so sorry because he's been gone a long time. He just left his guys there and just left the game. And it's like, dang it, if he'd have yeeted out, then Power of Us could have actually been maybe twice the size he is now and really had more of that momentum going. We've talked about that exponential growth. If you get knocked down early, it's hard to get back into that steep curve. Benaya, of course, has been doing great. Really sort of taken over all of Madrid here. And then again, Zinzin has really been shining. Zinzin has attacked all the way down through the Iberian Peninsula here, all the way to the tip here, and then continued east, though, as well. Look how much reach he has here. So, if I was Zinzin, I might think about repositioning my capital somewhat, but I don't know what that would look like because this is all Zinzin down here too. Now we can see Papa Smitty has finally moved his capital because he now has a preponderance of territories in Northern Africa. So he's doing it right. Obviously, he really has this game refined. Don't be surprised if he continues to conquer down into here. He may shift that even further south because he knows what he's doing. So great stuff going on here in the game. Very interesting stuff worldwide. We're going to keep an eye on Northern America, who seems to be expanding really dominantly over there. We'll keep an eye on Southeast Asia here because this seems to be an area of expansion as well. We're going to keep an eye on China, who's had a very, interestingly negative experience with people in this region here. And then I just wanted to show you the newspaper because you got to love it when the newspaper. So here we go. A man, lol. I mean, you sold me land, then attack me, check the death. It's not me who is losing. So this is Jilin, our friend 50 Cal. And then here's British Guyana. I sold you the land, but then you started attacking South America. It's if you had sold me soul and it's like, what's happening here? And then over blah, 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 blah. And then over here, back to, now who is this? South Kanzu. And then what are you talking about? It's like, oh my God, they're arguing directly back and forth in the newspaper. So we know this is 50 Cal, who has been known to be querulous, argumentative, let's say. And then, so I'm thinking, okay, who's British Guyana? That must be somebody close by him in the region. So here's 50 Cal, right? So where's British Guyana? Oh, British Guyana is here. What? Like, wait, what? So 50 Cal, who's famous for feuding with Papa Smitty halfway around the world, now is feuding in the newspaper. What is happening here? Oh, that's where, as a caster, I wish I knew all the individual drama that's going on. But unfortunately, I can only know the drama that's happening directly with me or my coalition or my Discord channel. But anyway, fun stuff. I'll keep you guys posted as usual. Thanks for checking in, guys. Adios, amigos.